This is genuinely insane as a brand new report from Shams has just dropped revealing a bombshell update surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo and his future as a Milwaukee Buck as well. Shams has just dropped a brand new update regarding Devin Booker's injury, which he suffered against the Los Angeles Lakers early in the first quarter. And we're going to go over this bombshell report from Shams regarding Giannis Antetokounmpo as well as this injury update from Devin Booker and going into this game against the Houston Rockets. But guys, before we get into everything, we noticed that 98.4% of you are not subscribed to our watching. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, like and comment down below about how you feel about the Phoenix Suns this season and heading into this game against the Houston Rockets, who they did unfortunately drop a game to just a few weeks ago. But we're actually going to cover a little bit about why that loss happened and how we can go into this game feeling a little better about beating the Houston Rockets. But guys, let's get into this report from Shams Training regarding Giannis Antetokounmpo. You can see here that it says just in, Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent Alex Saratis have started conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks about the two-time NBA MVP's future and discussing whether his best fit is staying here or elsewhere. And the resolution is expected in the coming weeks. Now, of course, as Suns fans, we all know who Giannis Antetokounmpo is. We faced off against him in the finals in 2021. And just to give a little bit of background on the situation with Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks over the past few years, they did win the championship in 2021. They had an excellent supporting cast in Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Dante DiVincenzo. And then, as the years went on, they lost in the first round a couple times. I believe they won one first round series, but eventually lost in the second one, and it just has been going well for the Milwaukee Bucks so far since that 2021 championship season. There was obviously the Damian Lillard trade, which was a little forced because Giannis Antetokounmpo did threaten to leave, or there was reports of him threatening to leave, and that is why they did trade Drew Holiday and eventually acquired Damian Lillard. And of course, we all know how that worked out. Of course, that didn't work in their favor, and now it's kind of happening again. That he's his future is uncertain in Milwaukee. There was reports that he requested a trade this past offseason. Brian Windhorst reported that Giannis reportedly said that he wanted to be a New York Knick. Now, of course, we take that with a grain of salt. We don't know if that's completely true, but there has been multiple rumors and secrets and trade rumors, of course, that Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to make his way to the New York Knicks. That's always the big one for big stars, the big team that is looking to acquire, the two-time NBA MVP. But, taking a look at Giannis, who could potentially make his way over to the Phoenix Suns. Now, I'm not saying that is, a definite possibility, but I mean, anything can happen in that regard. But one thing you have to look at for the Phoenix Suns in acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo is that they don't have a ton of draft capital, and neither do the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's what they would be looking for, right? Because they are absolutely depleted of draft capital after making that trade for Damian Lillard. So that's one thing that you have to look at in acquiring Giannis. I don't know if he would necessarily be a fit for this Suns team. I don't know if you guys would want him. I'd like to get your thoughts and opinions on that. If you comment down below, if you would like someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo, I do think that the chance at getting someone like him would certainly be an advantage. I wouldn't hate the idea of Giannis Antetokounmpo being a Phoenix Sun if they can get him, but the question is, can they? And you take a look at the Phoenix Suns roster so far this year, and you look at the kind of players that they would trade for someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo, and mostly they would just take our young players like Kaman Malawach and Rasheer Fleming, who had an excellent game. Just to note that the other night in the G League, Rasheer Fleming hit a game winner, so I just kind of wanted to shout them out for that. Of course, Jalen Green would be the number one guy that would be included in a deal like that. Of course, he hasn't played that much so far this year. Only played one game, had an excellent game, but of course re-injured his hamstring and is going to be out until probably Christmas or just a little bit after. And then you have other players like Grayson Allen, who is a former Milwaukee Buck, and you have other guys like Ryan Dunn, Dylan Brooks, but of course, Devin Booker wouldn't be included in a deal like that because they would obviously want to build around the duo of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Devin Booker. Another guy that might be included in a deal like that is Mark Williams, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense for the Milwaukee Bucks as they just paid Miles Turner a bunch of money to come there and play for them, so they obviously wouldn't want someone like Mark Williams. They already have Bobby Portis there as well at the center forward position. So, I mean, if we were to get Giannis Antetokounmpo somehow, just a hypothetical, the main core that I would like to keep is Devin Booker, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Mark Williams. I'm not sure what kind of players they would ask for. They would probably, I know I said that they would ask for all of their young players. They probably get Colin Gillespie in that deal, which I would definitely hate to see him go, but the Milwaukee Bucks already have a ton of guard depth, so I don't see them wanting someone like Colin Gillespie because they would be so deep at that position. But maybe a 3-team deal would be involved in this. That's probably the likely outcome if Giannis Antetokounmpo does get traded, so other teams can get involved and probably get some extra draft assets or a couple players that really would take their team to the next level. But overall, guys, I want your thoughts and opinions on getting Giannis Antetokounmpo and if you would want him playing for the Phoenix Suns and how exactly you think they would go about acquiring him. It's definitely like a tiptoe route here, as you don't know exactly what the Milwaukee Bucks would want from the Phoenix Suns. They do need a lot of wing 3-and-D depth right now, and someone like Dylan Brooks would obviously fit that role, and maybe someone like Ryan Dunn as well, as they do need a defensive-minded small forward, as Kyle Kuzma's not really cutting it right now, and AJ Green also isn't cutting it defensively either. He's not a small forward, he's a shooting guard, but Doc Rivers likes to play really heavy guard lineups. So overall, guys, that's my thoughts on the Giannis trade, but give me your thoughts and opinions down below exactly about how you feel about Giannis Antetokounmpo becoming a Phoenix Sun. But let's get into this injury update regarding Devin Booker, and it says here that Shams Charania, Phoenix Suns star Devin Booker, has sustained a right groin strain and will be reevaluated in 1 week. Best case for Booker and the Suns, who are a surprise 13-9 in the West playoff picture so far this season. Now, of course, we mentioned in a previous video that Devin Booker has some weird history with groin or hamstring injuries. He suffered one around this holiday season, pretty much almost every season of his career, I believe, or at least for the past maybe like 5 or 6 seasons. So, of course, this is the best case scenario for the Phoenix Suns, as they've had a great amount of off days now going into this game against Houston. So it's going to be it's a good time to get injured is basically what I'm trying to say. But of course, he's not going to be there for the Houston Rockets game. He wasn't there for the last one. Actually, no, yes, he was. I'm sorry. I got them mixed up. But he was there for the last one. But that's kind of what I want to talk about next, is this Houston Rockets game that's going to be happening tomorrow, and why exactly they kind of dropped them in the first game, and kind of a little preview about how exactly they can go out beating them in this next matchup. You can see here that in the line score in the first quarter, it was 30-23, so only a 7-point deficit. They kept up as much as they could, and then in the second quarter, it was 27-29, and then after halftime, it was 25-25. But then you can see in the fourth quarter, they just kind of let it go. They kind of let the game drop, and Houston, of course, took advantage of that and took over. Another big thing to look at is there were a lot of inactives this game. Kevin Durant, of course, didn't play. He is likely to play tomorrow. Dorian Finney-Smith was not playing. Neither was Tari Eason, and Fred VanVleet is of course, out for the season. But bunch of people on Phoenix that didn't play was Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Jalen Green, Mark Williams. So, I mean, that's a huge factor as well. You could argue that, I mean, I think if all of those guys played, we would easily win that game, even with a fully healthy Houston Rockets team. So that's a lot to look at there. I do really have a good feeling about this game going into Houston tomorrow, even without Devin Booker. I mean, this team has continued to impress everyone in the NBA with how they managed to win games and keep them close, especially against contending teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and of course the Houston Rockets tomorrow. But guys, I want to get your thoughts and opinions on how exactly you think we're going to go into this game and beat the Houston Rockets, because you take a look at the box score here for the Suns during that game, and of course Devin Booker at that point wasn't really hitting his shots. You can see 39% from the field. He was on a little streak there where he wasn't hitting as many three-pointers as we would have liked. He only scored 18 points. Dylan Brooks was the man of the hour there during that game, scoring 29 points on 50% from the field, and Jordan Goodwin is always doing his thing on defense, making opponents really uncomfortable, making sure that they're guarding the best guy on the floor. He can guard pretty much anywhere from the 1 to the 5. I mean, if you can recall the Phoenix Suns game, not the Phoenix Suns games, the San Antonio Spurs game, which was a really fun watch. But guys, overall, that's my thoughts and opinions on Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Devin Booker update, and how I feel about this game going into Houston tomorrow. But give me your thoughts down below on how you feel about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Do you think he should be a Phoenix Sun? How do you feel about the game going into Houston tomorrow? Give me all your thoughts and opinions down below. And as always, guys, go Suns.